We have nothing to fear but fear itself. The words of FDR. And if you look back in history at the time that he spoke these words, well, that was a time very similar to what we are facing right now. There was a lot of, political disruption, and this was during the Dust Bowl. So there was a drought, and it was destroying crops. There was tension across parties, at times resulting in more violence than we have seen in recent times. Something that, the point that he was making at the time, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. People are driven by emotions: fear, anger, anxiety, hatred, depression. Well, a big problem that we've got today that did not exist at that time at the same degree is the media. There are people that literally, entities that profit from you being afraid. You've got military contractors that are advertising. They're using your tax dollars to advertise on corporate media. Well, this is a form of a bribe to the corporate media to promote ideas which make you afraid, which make you more motivated to think that their products are needed. You are fearful, anxious that your shirt's not wide enough, that your breath isn't fresh enough, that you're not driving the right car, etc., etc. And, we have things very much which are just, real fears to face. The media talks about crime as though crime is off the charts. And in the past year, because of social disruptions, economic, financial problems, yes, we've seen a rise in crime, but prior to the past year, crime had been on a downward trend for many years. And if we fix the root causes of crime, then that's not really a concern. You look at many people disparage social media, but from what I see, social media is a tool. You find what you're looking for on social media. If you're looking for things to be afraid of, people to hate, things to be anxious about, you're going to find it. Within our real society, depression, anxiety have been on the rise for decades. From 1999 until present day, we have seen a rise in antidepressant medications, including benzodiazepines, which are highly, highly addictive and dangerous medications if taken long term. One of the problems with the antidepressants and so forth is that they numb a person. You become, it's not that it takes away your anxiety. The anxiety is actually pretty much still there, but you care less about it. There is a reason that in very recent years we have seen the drive toward legalizing marijuana, because people are so anxious. They want relief from that anxiety. You take a look at anything on social media, and everything is geared toward making you angry, offended, upset, divisive, hate, driving this hatred. Now, I like to think that I am a bit different with this, with my channel. Let me go through a list of, the videos on my channel. This is a list of things. China back on lockdown, channel changes, the upcoming U.S.-Russia summit, establishing economic value diversions and distractions, coming gold rush, censorship. Some of these things are valid fears, but I'm not pushing a divisive message in this. I'm not trying to get anyone to hate, to be angry against fellow Americans or other countries. In fact, I'm very much against all of that. But you're not going to find any kind of message like that on social media. Even when you look at independent media, most of the time what you're finding is something to be offended by. This person, this group, that group. It's us against them, and they just can't break free of that mindset. The message that FDR was trying to send at the time that he spoke those words was that we need to work together to fix our problems. Some people feel that we are going backwards, that we're, having more problems, worse problems, etc., but that's not true either. The fact is, we are seeing, positive progress socially, not politically. But any changes have to come about socially before they're going to get to the political level. We have to make the politicians afraid, more afraid of us than their corporate donors. It will be a great thing when the corporate donors finally collapse, which I still feel is not far off, no matter what the Fed does, no matter the Treasury, the Congress, they can't bail out the corporations any further. That's it. Even the Republicans, if they're against the infrastructure bill, I've pointed out the flaws in the infrastructure bill, that 80% of it goes to corporations. It doesn't reach you at all. It's all going to corporate profits. The American Rescue Plan, 65% of it went to corporations. Every bailout that we have seen, most of it went to corporations. Well, now we've got Republicans and some Democrats that are against another bailout. We've got, I pointed out the droughts and all these other things. These are real fears that we should be facing. The response of the FDR administration was to create federal jobs. And I've pointed out before what the difference is between a federal jobs guarantee and guaranteed federal jobs. A federal jobs guarantee means that they subsidize corporations, and a guaranteed federal jobs means that the government is going to hire people and pay them directly. There's no subsidy involved. So when you hear some particular politician talking about a federal jobs guarantee, what they're really talking about is corporate subsidies. And most of that money never reaches you. So, what are some of the positives that I'm talking about? That we've seen increasing support for Palestine against Israel. We see more and more Americans that are against continuing our forever wars in the Middle East. No, we don't have an organized anti-war movement, but the sentiment is definitely there. Taxing the rich. We've got information coming out leaked about how much the rich are actually paying in taxes. You know, this is part of that. And this had to come from somebody on the inside in the IRS that had access to this information that feels that the rich should be taxed at a much higher rate. And all the loopholes need to be closed. We see defund the police and diverting funds to social programs, legalizing marijuana, and there is so much more. Police reform, election campaign finance reform. All these movements are all happening concurrently. The Me Too movement, anti-racial, movements against all forms of prejudice. These are all positive things. But there's a reason why we have to fight for them. If Congress was going to enact most of these things, they would have done so without us having to fight for them. But we are fighting against corporate and rich entities that profit off of keeping us divided against one another. And that is the worst thing that we can do. I have expressed the message many, many times on this channel that we are in this together. We have to reach across party lines, stop being divided by names. Issues unite, names divide. Doesn't matter what the name is. Trump, Biden, Hillary, Bernie, Republican, Democrat, etc. As soon as you throw those names in there, you've drawn a line. You've just thrown a brick at the other person. So we can have discussions across party lines. We can reach consensus. We can agree on things. We can achieve things if we work together. I do understand that we're going to have to go through worse than what we've been through, and I don't like it, but that worse is coming. Consider it karma. But on the side of the corporate and political spectrum, it's all driven by marketing, and marketing is based on psychology. This is the CIA. Our own government has had many decades of doing research into mind control. Well, that doesn't have to include drugs. They can control your thoughts quite easily through media messaging. The response needs to be to turn off that messaging that you realize is being so divisive. We can do this if we try. If we call out the divisive voices, if we tell them they are not doing anything positive, they are being destructive and harmful, they are destroying our country, our society. We have to fight back at the individual level. Now, please share this message. Talk about these subjects. Don't be indoctrinated. Don't let yourself be propagandized. When you feel yourself being anxious and afraid and fearful and depressed and so forth, take another look around. You can find the positives. You can find the alliances. You can find common voices. They're there. They are absolutely there. They're trying to silence us, and we can't let that happen. Keep spreading the message. Stop shutting down anybody that doesn't agree with you if they are rational, if they actually have something to say themselves. Well, discuss it. All right? Again, share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.